The streets of China have always been a living laboratory for culinary experimentation, a place where food is not merely sustenance, but an expression of culture, history, and community. From the imperial kitchens that once served the emperor's palate to the vibrant night markets that pulsed with life after dusk, Chinese street food reflects a journey that political shifts, technological advances, economic realities, and evolving tastes. In ancient times, the concept of street food was almost non-existent in its modern sense. Food in China began as a communal activity centered around shared family meals and temple festivals. The imperial court's lavish banquets were meticulously planned by master chefs who sourced ingredients from across the empire, demonstrating early on that food could be both an art form and a political statement. These courtly dishes, often made with rare spices or exotic meats, set standards for flavor profiles that would later trickle down to the common people in more modest forms. The Tang's Dynasty 680 to 907 marked the first real stir of street-level culinary culture. As China's capital, Chang'an was a cosmopolitan hub where traders from Central Asia, Persia, and beyond mingled with locals. The streets buzzed with food stalls that served everything from simple dumplings to elaborate noodles topped with saffron and honey. Street vendors were regulated by the government to ensure quality and safety, hinting at an early recognition of food as a public good. This era also saw the introduction of new cooking techniques, such as steaming and stir-frying that would become staples in Chinese cuisine. The subsequent Song Dynasty, 962-1279, brought about significant urban growth and a rise in merchant classes. The proliferation of markets led to a democratization of food. People could purchase ready-to-eat dishes rather than relying solely on home-cooked meals. Street vendors began selling more diverse offerings, such as fried dough sticks, sweet rice balls, and fermented bean curd. These foods were inexpensive yet flavorful, offering nourishment for the working class. The concept of street food was thus becoming entrenched in everyday life. Fast forward to the Ming 1368 to 1644 and Qing 16-441-912 dynasties, when the imperial bureaucracy became more involved in regulating commerce. Street vendors were now required to register, pay taxes, and adhere to health regulations. The government also introduced food guilds that oversaw certain categories of street food, ensuring consistency across city markets. This period saw the birth of iconic dishes such as Peking duck's crispy skin, which later inspired a host of street versions, small-scale, affordable adaptations that could be sold by vendors on the go. The early 20th century ushered in modernity and industrialization, reshaping China's food landscape dramatically. With the fall of the Qing dynasty and the establishment of the Republic of China, cities like Shanghai became melting pots where Western influences mingled with traditional Chinese flavors. Street stalls began offering convenience foods, quick bites like fried noodles, dumplings wrapped in thin pastry, and sweetened milk drinks that catered to a fast-paced urban lifestyle. The introduction of electricity allowed street vendors to cook over gas stoves or electric burners, making it easier to produce consistent quality even in crowded alleyways. The Chinese Civil War 1945 to 1949 and the subsequent establishment of the People's Republic of China brought about significant policy changes that would affect food production and distribution. The new government promoted collective agriculture and emphasized During this period, street vendors were often seen as a source of cheap, readily available food for workers in factories and construction sites. However, economic reforms in the late 1970s, particularly Deng Xiaoping's reform and opening up, led to increased consumer spending, power, and a resurgence of entrepreneurial activity among street vendors. The economic boom that followed saw rapid urbanization. Millions migrated from rural areas to cities like Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, and Shenzhen. This influx created a massive demand for affordable yet delicious food. Street stalls proliferated along sidewalks, train stations, and subways. These vendors adapted traditional recipes to meet the palates of newcomers, blending regional flavors with local ingredients. For instance, Sichuan-style spicy hot pot was made more accessible in small, portable hot pot carts that served instant noodles infused with Sichuan pepper. Night markets emerged as a cultural phenomenon during this period, especially in southern China and Taiwan. These bustling night bazaars such as Taipei Shilin Night Market or Guangzhou Shangxiaozhu, pedestrian street afford an array of street foods ranging from grilled seafood to sweet sesame cakes. The nocturnal setting allowed vendors to operate after the day's heat, drawing crowds seeking a communal dining experience under lantern light. In these markets, the line between street food and restaurant blurred. Many stalls had loyal followings that treated them as neighborhood institutions. The 21st century has seen further evolution in Chinese street food, driven by technology, global influence, and changing consumer preferences. The rise of social media platforms like WeChat, Douyin, TikTok, and Kuaishou has allowed street vendors to showcase their culinary creations to a wider audience. A viral video featuring a stall-esque signature stinky tofu or a steaming bowl of Qixia Longuba can catapult a small cart into national fame, boosting sales and attracting tourists. Simultaneously, there is an increasing focus on food safety and sustainability. Government regulations now require vendors to obtain licenses, adhere to hygiene standards, and trace ingredient sources. This has led many street stalls to shift from using raw or unprocessed ingredients to sourcing pre-cooked components, ensuring consistency while maintaining affordability. In urban areas, where space is at a premium, innovative solutions such as modular cooking units, portable refrigerators, and solar-powered stoves are becoming common. The global diaspora of Chinese communities has also influenced the trajectory of street food. In cities like New York, London, or Toronto, Chinese street vendors have introduced new hybrid dishes that fuse local tastes with traditional techniques. Szechuan-style dumplings served in a taco shell or Peking duck pizza. These adaptations highlight how street food is not static, but continually evolving to meet the needs of diverse audiences. Moreover, the rise of health-conscious consumers has spurred vendors to offer healthier options. Traditional fried foods are now being replaced with steamed or baked versions, and ingredients such as quinoa, whole grain noodles, and plant-based proteins have found their way into street carts. In some markets, vegan hot pot stalls cater specifically to a demographic that values ethical consumption without compromising on flavor. The journey from imperial palaces to night markets also reflects China's broader socioeconomic transformations. The food served in the palace kitchens was often elaborate, incorporating rare spices and intricate preparation, techniques and expression of power and refinement. In contrast, street vendors have democratized these flavors, making them accessible to all strata of society. This shift illustrates how culinary practices can both mirror and influence social mobility. Historically, Chinese street food has also been a vehicle for cultural exchange. For example, the introduction of Hainanese chicken rice in Hong Kong's night markets demonstrates the blending of Southern Chinese and Southeast Asian cuisines. Similarly, the popularization of dim sum in urban centers outside of Guangdong showcases how regional specialties can spread through migration and commerce. From an economic standpoint, street food has always served as a flexible source of income for many families. The low startup costs requiring minimal equipment and space make it an attractive venture for entrepreneurs. This accessibility encourages innovation. Vendors constantly tweak recipes to stand out in crowded marketplaces. Some have turned into brands that expand beyond the local market, opening small restaurants or franchising their concepts across cities. The relationship between street food and urban planning is also noteworthy. In many Chinese cities, authorities designate specific zones for night markets to manage traffic, flow, and sanitation. These designated areas often become cultural hubs where locals gather after work. The presence of vibrant street food scenes contributes to the city's identity, attracting tourists and fostering a sense of community. Environmental considerations have begun shaping street food practices as well. The widespread use of disposable plastic utensils has prompted vendors to adopt biodegradable options or reusable cutlery systems. Some cities offer subsidies or tax incentives for stalls that reduce waste or source locally grown produce, encouraging sustainability without compromising profitability. In the contemporary era, the concept of street food continues to evolve. The COVID-19 pandemic forced many vendors to pivot to takeout models, using delivery apps and contactless payment methods. This shift accelerated the integration of technology into street food operations. QR codes for menus, mobile payments, and real-time inventory management became standard practices. Despite challenges, street food persisted as a vital part of urban life, adapting to new norms while preserving its core appeal: quick, flavorful, and affordable. The journey from palaces to night markets encapsulates more than just a culinary event. It reflects the dynamic interplay between tradition and innovation, hierarchy and egalitarianism, local identity and global influence. Chinese street food has proven resilient, continually reinventing itself in response to changing societal needs.
Whether it is a humble stall serving steaming dumplings on a bustling
Beijing subway platform or an upscale night market offering gourmet fusion dishes in Shanghai, the spirit of adaptability remains constant. As we look forward, the future of Chinese street food appears poised for further innovation. Emerging trends such as plant-based proteins, functional foods with added health benefits, and augmented reality menus may redefine how consumers interact with street vendors. Yet, at its core, the essence of street food delivering taste, community, and convenience in a single bite remains unchanged. In conclusion, Chinese street food's journey from imperial kitchens to vibrant night markets is not merely a story about culinary techniques or ingredients. It is a narrative that intertwines history, culture, economics, and technology. It illustrates how food can be both a reflection of societal shifts and an agent of change itself. The next time you stroll through a bustling market in China, savoring the aroma of sizzling skewers or the sweetness of fried dough, remember that each bite carries centuries of evolution, resilience, and innovation, an enduring testament to humanity's capacity to turn simple ingredients into shared experiences across generations.